Good morning, folks. It's your bro Richie Rich here. Today in this video is now part three, I assume. Yes, it's part three on hot rods. So without any further ado, let's begin. I'm doing it a little bit differently in a different location because with my TV, it's a little bit faulty with the remote, but I'll see what I can do with that about that a little bit later on. But anyways, so without any further ado, let's begin. So the next part we're on is lifestyle. So culture hot rod culture encompasses hot rod culture uh encompasses more than just vehicle modifications. It developed as a distinctive lifestyle uh centered on hands-on craftsmanship, creativity, and community. The movement emerged in Southern California. The movement emerged in Southern California. Say, the movement emerged in Southern California. So the movement emerged in Southern California, or SoCal as it's called, in the late 30s and 40s, where young enthusiasts formed informal groups. So where young enthusiasts formed informal groups to modify inexpensive cars. So to modify inexpensive cars, exchange mechanical knowledge, and race on dry lake beds, such as both Morak and El Mirage dry lakes, fostering experimental both a collaborative and experimental approach to performance. Central central to the hot rod central to the hot rod central to the hot rod lifestyles, uh vehicle personalization. So central to the hot rod lifestyle is car personalization, as an expression of individual style and mechanical skill. Builders commonly modify motors, so engines, bodywork, and chassis, removing non-essential removing non-essential components such as like weight reduction and all that kind of stuff, altering suspension altering suspension and changing roof lines to so altering suspensions and changing roof lines to both achieve distinctive performance and aesthetic goals. Hot rods typically reflect the builder's both technical ingenuity and technical ingenuity and creative identity, rather than to factory specifications. Hot rod culture is closely associated with custom culture. It's without a C, it's what a K is replaced with. So hot rod culture is closely associated with custom culture. A related so custom culture, so with a K, not a C. So a K. So custom culture, a related American subculture encompassing custom car art, fashion, music, and graphic. So custom car art, fashion, music, and graphic design rooted in mid 20th century aesthetics. Artists such as Ed Big Daddy Roth, this is how it's called, um, born March 4th, 1932, in Beverly Hills, California, passed away age 69 in Manti in Utah, April 4th, 2001. The year the first Fast and Furious movie came out. So the city of Manti, Sanpete County, Utah. Population there was 3,429. Well, 3,430 people. I just rounded up. Such a small amount in a small town like this. So he was born March 4th, 1932. Beverly Hills, California. Passed away age 69, almost 70, April 4th, 2001, in Manti, Utah. He passed away from a heart attack. God, rest in peace. So artists such as Ed Roth, Ed is short for Edward, rest in peace, who was an American artist, cartoonist, illustrator, pinstriper, and custom car designer and builder who created the hot rod icon Rat Fink. It's like saying pink, but without the letter P. It's with an F. And other characters. Roth was a key figure in Southern California's custom culture and hot rod movement of both the late 50s and 60s. Artists such as Ed Roth, so he popularized hot rod inspired imagery, including exaggerated cartoon characters, both that and flame motifs, which became enduring symbols of the movement and influenced both lowbrow art and style. The hot rod communities commonly described as com- the hot rod communities commonly described as divided into two main so the hot rod communities commonly described as divided into two main groups, street rodders and hot rodders. The definition of a street rod remains debated, with interpretations ranging from hot rods incorporating either modern features or styling to cars primarily built for just regular street use. Media outlets, on the other hand, played a significant role in shaping the hot rod lifestyle. The launch of Hot Rod magazine in 1948. The launch of Hot Rod magazine in 1948, 3 years after the Second World War ended. The launch of Hot Rod magazine in 1948 provided a national platform for sharing technical knowledge, showcasing notable builds and reinforcing a shared culture identity among enthusiasts. Social gatherings remain a social gatherings remain a social gatherings remain a yeah, I can't talk. Yeah. Social gatherings remain a cornerstone of the culture, with enthusiasts participating in car clubs, cruise-ins, and meets that emphasize both. Oh God, bear with me for a second. I'm gonna try to pronounce this word. Camaraderie. I don't know how you say that, but it's spelled CAMARADERIE, and knowledge sharing. In both the late 20th and early 21st centuries, which we're in obviously, automotive writers documented a renewed interest in traditional hot rodding, characterized by period correct builds and stylistic uh, influences drawn from earlier hot rod traditions. This revivals so earlier hot rod traditions. This revivals reflected in this revivals reflected in the prominence of traditional style car clubs, nostalgia focused events, and publications such as the Rodder's Journal, which emphasized historically grounded aesthetics over either modernized or highly modified cars. All right, so for my next video will be about cultural impact, and that'll be is this the last one? I'm gonna double check. Yeah. So for my yeah. Excuse me. So for my next and final video will be about cultural impact. Starting off with the first part, well, almost the first part is music. There's a little bit before that, but there's gonna be music as well. All right, so that'll be it. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.